I don't know if it's just me, but the holidays have really caught me off guard this year. They came out of nowhere. I don't know if it's just because we have been prepping to move and packing and all sorts of things, or if it's the pandemic that has just kind of thrown off this whole year. But the holidays are here, and I am so thankful that I decided this past summer to try and put together a Christmas or a holiday plan for my homeschool. Otherwise, I would just be deer in the headlights. So I'm going to share that with you today. Hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm a mom to 4. I love to homeschool, I love to read good books, and I love to share both of those things on this channel. And so if you also love those things, please consider subscribing. I'd love for you to join the community. So today's video, like I said, is about my Christmas plan. I have 2 main resources to share with you today. I'm using Build Your Library, the Jan Brett Christmas Unit, as well as Truth in the Tinsel, an Advent Experience for Little Hands, which is what we have used these past couple years for my kids, because this is geared more towards younger kids. So in the past, we have done just this, and I have found that I'm a bit terrible at doing crafts, and I have no joy in doing them. And this is very craft heavy, but it's not just crafts. So I'm going to explain kind of how I'm going to be combining these 2 programs into something that I'm really, really excited about. So let me just talk a bit about both programs and talk about what aspects I'm using from them for this Christmas season. So I'm planning on starting this unit the week after Thanksgiving, which I think will be next week based on when I'm scheduling this video to go up. So it'll go for about 4 weeks off and on, up until the week of Christmas. And in general, I have found that December's a crazy month. I don't like to plan a ton of stuff, or I don't like to put a lot on my shoulders, but I really want to enjoy some aspects of the holiday season, and I need a plan or I won't do anything. I'm that type of person. If I don't have a plan, then nothing gets done, and before you know it, it's January. I don't want that to happen this year. I really want to enjoy this time with my kids. So let me hop in before I ramble too much. So for Build Your Library, it's the Jan Brett Christmas Unit Study, I think is what it's called. I will link it below. And it uses 4 of the Jan Brett books. And if you have not looked at some of these books, they are gorgeous. They're really, really pretty. And their stories are just wonderful and just kind of quaint. And I'll show you a little bit there. And the kids just love looking at these pictures. There is a lot to look at. There's a lot to discuss. And the illustrations are fantastic and the stories are really good. So, like I said, this unit study has 4 of those books, and they're loosely scheduled for a book a week sort of idea. And so the reason I landed on combining these 2 types of programs, because Build Your Library is a secular program and Truth in the Tinsel is not, it's Christian, is because I was wanting something more than this, which I love this, and I'll tell you what I want to use with this, but I wanted something more literature based. I wanted some beautiful picture books. I wanted to talk about all aspects of the season, and the Build Your Library unit study does a really good job of that. And so for instance, the first week is the Gingerbread Baby book, like I just showed you some of the inside. So basically what she has written up is a very loose, do what you can sort of study, which I can get so behind that in the holiday season. And she has 1 thing for copywork. If you're wanting to do copywork, it really depends on the age of your kids. She designed this for 4 to 7-year-olds. And so there is a little bit of copywork and various things, but it's not a ton of writing or anything like that. So copywork, some vocabulary you could discuss, some activities. So this is where I like this. It has a couple options. So one is we're going to talk about circular stories where they start in one place and end in the same place. And we can talk about other books that do that, such as like If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, if that's the right one. And also she has a recipe for gingerbread cookies, which we will definitely be doing this, especially since we're reading the book. My kids really love that when we can relate what we're reading to what we're doing. Then the next book is The 12 Days of Christmas. And here's her plan with a little bit of copywork, some activities like listening to the 12 Days of Christmas song. And then she has a worksheet printable in the bundle that has it where you can fill in the 12 Days of Christmas song, and your kids can do it, and it will just be fun. It sounds really fun, almost like Mad Libs for Christmas songs. And the next one is the Wild Christmas Reindeer. And this one, let me pull out my plan. This one, there's a little copy work, and then this is where you can talk about the Arctic Circle, you can talk about like the Northern Lights, the different types of animals, the different names of reindeer in all the stories. Like for instance, in this book, the reindeer are called something different than they are in the traditional story, like Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and stuff. And then it gives you a column for your kids to come up with names of reindeer. So it's just kind of fun little things, which I think my kids, again, are 5 and 6. They are the perfect age for something like this, these kinds of creative activities. And then the last Jan Brett book is Who's That Knocking on Christmas Eve? And so this is the one you do the 4th week, which makes sense because it's talking about Christmas Eve. This is a very straightforward literature-based Christmas holiday study, which I just really like. I like drawing in all of these different elements, as well as the Christmas story and the story of Jesus and the reason for the season and all of that stuff I love, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do with that too, but I love some of this other stuff as well, and so I decided it would be fun to mesh the two. So let me tell you a little bit more about what we're planning to do with like scripture and the Advent season and preparing our hearts for the coming of Jesus, and that's also very exciting. So the Truth in the Tinsel, like I said, it's a very craft heavy program. It's beautiful, especially if you like crafts. It's basically set up in 25 days. So like day 1, you read a scripture passage and then there's a craft. And the crafts are ornaments. I think I forgot to mention that you're making an ornament for every day and you get to put them on your tree, and it's really sounds so precious. I just couldn't make it happen. And actually, so they have that one where you can actually physically make crafts like little angels and stars and things like that. Or she has a big principle of a Christmas tree, which I went to, I think, Staples last year and printed it off on like a 3-foot by 4-foot piece of paper. And we put it on the wall. And then there's ornaments that they can color and cut out, and you can stick on the corresponding number. So that's another option that's kind of an in-between the craft, the full-on craft, and this option, which was good. And we did that last year and we really enjoyed it. So that's another option. And she also has like paper chains and some other clever kind of advent calendar things you can do. But what I'm thinking of doing this year is I want to focus in on all the scripture that's mentioned in this program. One of her resources actually does have that. At the very end, it gives you the different days and what scripture are mentioned on those days. So we will definitely be reading all the different accounts. But what I'm thinking of doing this year, which I'm really intrigued by, is to do this where you focus on the people, so the characters in this story. And there's 10 different characters, whether they be angels or Mary or Jesus or shepherds or wise men or things like that. And you can focus on the people or the characters of the story. And I'm thinking of doing that this year, really honing in on that and talking about their different character traits, since we're just working a lot on generosity and obedience and things like that in our character curriculum, which I'll link up above. But I feel like that's a really good thing to tie into something like this, where you can do a character study or a person study of the people involved in the Advent story or in the Christmas story in the Bible. And I'm just so jazzed about that. I think that's a really fun take, especially with my almost 7-year-old, as I feel like he's kind of aging out of this type of a program. Like I feel like it's geared to maybe like 2 to 6, as opposed to the other one was more 4 to 7, if that makes sense. And we've also already done it for 2 years straight, even though we have yet to ever make one of the crafty ornaments. So yeah, that's my plan. I'm really excited. I feel like the combination of the literature, the Jan Brett books, as well as the scripture and really focusing on the people in the story just make me so excited. So I'm hoping it's not too much. It doesn't feel like too much. Again, usually during December, I tend to scale back quite a bit. So my plan is just to really do this unit study. So do this stuff plus math, phonics, handwriting. So I think we're not really going to do a ton of morning time or a ton of poetry tea time. I'm going to pause on all of that stuff, do all the fun Christmas stuff, and then pick back up that stuff in the new year. So that is my current plan. Is anybody else feeling like the holiday season just really came out of nowhere? I feel like 2020 is equally the longest year and the quickest year. It's just been strange. So I'm excited to hear what you all are planning. Please share below. I'm always open to either new resources of Christmas studies, because I feel like I'm not having good luck finding any, or just what do you personally do? If it's not following a curriculum of any kind, please share. I just love hearing what you all are doing and starting a discussion down below. So anyway, that's what I have. Thank you for taking the time to watch and stopping by. Please consider liking the video. It helps me out, and subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Otherwise, I will see you in the next homeschooling video. All right, have a good day. Bye.